ladies, gentlemen, heroes of the storm fams of all flavors. Today, we have a replay cast of a heroic division match here in Season 19 of the Nexus Gaming Series. We're going to have Rodney's Imaginary Friends playing a solid school. So, Rodney's Imaginary Friends did ban Infernal Shrines and Volskaya Foundry, and the bans coming out from a solid school were Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. Again, as I don't know who picked which map first. I don't know whose map pick it is, but we'll be starting this series on Brax's Holdout, a two-lane map with lots of aggression that's all about holding the point and then having a way to clear out some Zerg. So character tanks that are good on point holding are really popular here. Sometimes we see things like Joe, Diablo, Garrosh can be pretty popular here. Sometimes Arthas if it makes sense to do so. In the top lane, we usually see duelists who can stand on the point for a while, Rexar, Artanis, etc. So we can hope that we see the Artanis to make uh, to make Hoku happy in this cast. But more recently, we've sometimes seen teams go with a 2-3 split instead of a 1-4 split on this map, trying to give themselves opportunities to have more control in the top lane than then letting themselves rotate. So there are lots and lots of options. Just before we jump in, because there isn't a draft phase, we will do a quick draft analysis when we pop in, and then we will hop in and see what these teams have to give us. So let's start with Game 1 between Rodney's Imaginary Friends and a solid school. So, we see that Rodney's imaginary friends have drafted Tyrande, Muradin, Chromie, Karazim, and Sonya. And that 2-3 we talked about, we've seen it similarly with this in, I think, Div B, where Sonya, Karazim were in the top, and Chromie and the tank healer were in the bottom. I think it was a Joe and a Deckard in that case. But anyway, the Karazim does make this draft very flexible, and double healer does mean Chromie, hopefully, should never die. Although I do have some blow up in the Greymane on the other side. Sonya, a very good duelist on the point, with or without support. And Muradin Tyrande, if you can hit a Stormbolt or the Lunar Blessing, either one, first, the other can follow up, and then you have about 2.5 to 3 seconds of stun time to follow up and try either disengage or hard engage, depending on what you're looking for. Now, this team's mostly going to be looking to let Chromie do damage from the back, so until the 5-man team fights where Sonya's there, Muradin's there, probably not a lot of engage, but more so the long, drawn-out taxation of the enemy team, although with an Ariel, it's going to be hard to tax their healer, so they're more going to try and tax hit points. Overall, I think this is a very flexible draft. Muradin can go top quickly. Karazim can go top quickly if they do stay as a 4-man. And in the 4-man, they should have plenty of sustain and a decent amount of damage with Karazim, and Tyrande can output damage, so they certainly won't be short on either damage or healing. And Chromie can just kind of sit back and throw sand at people, which is generally considered rude, but in her case, it is her kit. On the red side, we see Johanna, Leoric, Falstad, Ariel, Greymane. A much more standard composition. The globals are very strong on this map for answering when an opponent rotates. Leo is a character that if he hits his W, he's hard to beat, and if he misses his W, he has to walk away when it comes to dueling. It is all about whether if he can do percent damage and heal percent damage, he's good. If it misses, he doesn't have much to follow up with. Ariel means they'll have infinite healing sustain, although no cleanses, which is relevant considering that they are up against Muradin Tyrande. Johanna is always a great tank on this map, and Greymane and Falstad does give you a good balance of sustain damage and some burst. So I actually think both of these are really strong comps. I think the more standard comp generally is easier to execute, but if they know what they want to do with this double healer comp, that has its own aggression, it could very well kind of change the way the game gets played a little bit. So basically, whichever team can get the game to flow in the tempo they want is going to be able to win this game. So, as usual, all matchups are skill matchups. So let's get into game number 1 between Rodney's Imaginary Friends and a solid school. In the blue, Representing Rodney's imaginary friends, we have Snarfungus on Tyrande, Rodney 77X on Muradin, Rayvar playing Chromie, Drincho on the Karazim, and Asmo Chad playing Asmodee. Nope, Sonya. On the far side, we have Jazz on Johanna, Hero playing Leoric, Mundane Zebra playing Falstad, The Cure playing Ariel, and Azuriel playing Greymane. With DC the Lunar Blaze, the Lunar Flare stacking quest for Tyrande, that's all I've ever really seen when Tyrande gets played. We have the Dwarf block, giving block stacks for Muradin. The Vision talent for Chromie, very, very useful for letting her snipe people with her abilities. Iron Fist for Karazim, again, pretty much all you ever see. There's a good Stormbolt followed by the Lunar Flare, and that is about 60% of the Dwarf on a Duck's health gone. He considered backing, but it looks like it was a bait. He's just going to be patient. Now he's going to back at the back and then probably use his fly to come back in the top. So we do see the 3v5. There's the time trap on the Johanna followed. Oh, but the timing of the... They didn't quite have that timing right for the stun. In the top, we do see Leoric up against Drincho and Asmo Chad. But Falstad is going top to help out Leoric. So he will not be alone for long. We do see the block tough as nails for this Sonya, and... both Falstad and Asmo, and Leo do like to use their autos to do damage, so Tough as Nails should help the sustain of the Sonya here. We have Flashlight build and the Zealous Glare for the Johanna. There's a lot of damage coming out here, and Greymane gets blown away. They were trying to finish off Rayvar and Rodney, but instead GM is Gone. We have Fealty Unto Death for Leo, which we don't often see. It often lacks some of the sustain you see from Ossian Renewal, but Hero has decided it's what's best here with the minions dying nearby. When you're fighting on the point, I don't know what the range of it is, the only downside. It just says nearby. We have Auto Attack Frequent Flyer for Falstad, and both teams are looking to take a camp now. We've got the Righteous Assault, so for every enemy you hit with your... whip together your Sacred Sweep. Jazz is trying to contest this point, but right now Blue has control of both beacons. And Azochat and Drincho were looking to invade, it looks like. Now they're going to come back onto Hero. He does land the Drain Hope, but with two heroes, he has to be careful. He's down to half health already. Mundane Zebra is here as well. As in the bottom, they are still trying to position to see who can get better opportunities on this point, while Azuriel comes in to kill this Fireback camp. Once again, Snarfungus's Lunar Blaze misses. We've got Cocktail build here. In the top, the squishy health bar of Falstad pays the price. Jumped on by Asmochad and Drincho means that the Dwarf on a Duck is deceased. And now, we see the stun onto Azuriel. Jazz trying to pull in Rodney and Snarfungus. Red is going to take control of this for now, but Assault School getting pushed away now by Rodney's imaginary friends as this point continues to be contested. Jazz is getting very low from the damage from Snarfungus, and oh, the stun on the snipe! And that is Johanna. She's made it back to the Hall of Storms as Mundane Zebra flies in now, trying to get damage, has to E over the wall. The barrel roll keeps him safe, but that is 100% to 0. Now, if you do lose the beacon, you do get an 18% Zerg wave, as you can see here, but that will be very small, and it should not be difficult for Sonya and Drincho to do this. And in fact, they're going to send 4 on the bottom from a solid school contest this giant Zerg wave coming in. Guardians, Ultralisks, Hydralisks. The Banelings are right here trying to find a place to blow themselves up, but those Hydralisks have got some big booty. The gate does go down. There is a stun onto Azuriel, but a heal there from the Cure. Rayvar stepping up to get some snipes. Jazz trying to catch this Chromie. It's the linchpin of Rodney's imaginary friend's bottom strat. Snarfungus also taking the W. They're going to jump on Snarfungus. She's taking so much damage and she's not able to stay alive. Now they're going to chase Rayvar as well. Gets whipped back but not into a wall. The barrel roll comes out from Mundane Zebra. Are they going to be able to grab her still? Yes, she takes so much damage, and there it is. A 2 for nothing for a solid school as the last Guardian puts cute little tickle pokes on the fort in the bottom. So the 4v3, it finally costs the members of Rodney's imaginary friends as they lose 2 members there as Drincho continues to support Sonya on the top, and they've broken both towers, meaning that the only defense here is a gate for Hero. He has to be careful. He's taking a lot of damage. He does manage to use the Wraithwalk to get away. Lightning Rod. I knew it was Lightning Rod, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure. All right, Hero will back as Asmachad and Drincho continue looking for the advantage here. In the meanwhile, a Solid School will take their Firebat camp. And on the bottom, Falstad is all alone to defend against the 3-man attack on this fort, as it's about 75% health at the moment. Rodney will take the Lightning Rod attacks. He's going to jump out here as Jazz shows up as well. This camp is taken by Zariel and the Cure. Asmachad looking to see if there's an opportunity to delay the rotate, but there is not. It's going to be a 4v3 in the bottom once again. The Lunar Blades comes out. Oh, a great whip there by the Cure, and Ravor is blown away. Cannot be saved. And once again, the 4v3 is starting to cost the members of Rodney's imaginary friends, as they've gotten the gate in the top as well, but they're not getting much else for it. They did have a lead, but they're losing that lead swiftly as the members of a Solid School are picking up on how they win against this combination, against this 2v3, and it's just be aggressive on the bottom. We're still a little ways away from ultimates coming out for both teams. Snarfungus just firing away at this Firebat camp. Ravor drops the slowing sands. They're going to jump onto Azuriel. It takes so much damage. It's a 5-on-4 now, as Leo is all alone in the top lane to attack that gate. They're also left these Firebats here to attack. The Cure is getting incredibly low, but some good body blocking there from Jazz means that Ariel is able to survive. The Firebats will be destroyed by Ravar as Asmachad and Drincho rotate back up to annoy the Skeleton King Leoric. There is vision onto this Bruiser camp from the Owl of Snarfungus. The beacons will activate now. Some more damage goes on the fort, taking it down to about 50%. The bottom beacon is captured, and out come the slowing sands as well. We're still about a half level away from ults for both teams. Mundane Zebra is slowed. It's going to take a lot of damage from Ravar's Chromie. A stun from Lunar Blaze, and Mundane Zebra's at about 10% health. He has to barrel roll away. The Cure is now going to start taking damage from Ravar, as Jazz is forced to back away as well, as the top beacon is in the hands of Rodney's imaginary friends. Rodney standing on the point with his Murden, trying to keep this Joe from getting any opportunities. Ravar has to back away as Azariel is looking for opportunities to blow up this Chromie. The fort is, the Bruiser camp is pushing the bottom fort as the members of Rodney's imaginary friends cede control over the beacon, not want to put themselves in a situation to lose more members. Jazz is going to walk in with the Iron Skin. Out comes the cocktail, the Gilnean cocktail from Azariel, but it doesn't manage to harm anyone. Tens will come in for both teams. We see Blessed Shield from Johanna, Entomb from Leoric, the Gust from Falstad. Oh, well, we see the Haymaker. Mundane Saber comes in, but he does use the Gust onto Ravar. It looks like Chromie's going to pay the price for this Haymaker from her Muradin. Out comes the Starfall, and they manage to keep Ravar alive for now. Rodney's taking so much damage, but he dwarf tosses out. Snarfungus gets whipped, but manages to stay alive. But Jazz taking so much damage and is blown away. And now it's a 3v3 without their tank. They're putting damage on a Mundane Zebra. He's hit by the Owl. Ravar looking to snipe Mundane Zebra, flying in a different direction. A great whip there from the Cure. They're going to stun Azariel as well. They're going to see if they can kill more than one. Ravar, they're pushing a Mundane Zebra. He will get hit by the Sandblast and die. Azariel taking so much damage. The Drintos come down as well. The 7-star strike comes out and kills him. They kill the Cure as well. It's a 4-for-nothing team fight for the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. Now, in this time, Leoric did capture the top beacon, and they are gaining a little bit of Zerg wave progress. But with losing 4 people, the wave is pushed into top, which is at about 10% now. The bottom is likely to go down to damage. No, they're going to allow Johanna to defend this, but now the beacons are firmly in the control of Rodney's imaginary friends, as a great rotate from Drincho meant that nobody was left alive after just a slight overpush from the members of a Solid School. Top fort will go down. Hero does drop the Entomb, but it's not going to do much to help. Mundane Zebra is going to come in as well, and there's a rotate from the Cure and Azariel as well. Drincho is forced to leave, but Chad is in a very, very rough spot. He went with Wrath of the Berserker on Sonya, so he does not have Leap to escape, but they're going to try and turn this fight around. The rotate is coming from Snarfangus and Rizar, but Sonya finally does go down and is killed in this 5v, what was at the time a 5v3 team fight. Gilnean Cocktail will come out and not hit anyone, but now that it's a 5v4, both beacons are now in the hands of a Solid School, who are finding ways to get back into this game despite moments when things get tough. Rodney trying to take this point back. They're putting stuns onto Jazz here. The Skullcracker, the Lunar Blaze. Rodney gets a double stun here. He's on the Cure in his area. He's going to knock The Cure back on the team. Not Scarlet Aegis, pardon me. Crystal Aegis comes out. The Cure, he's gonna get stunned by the Lunar Blaze. Jazz is low. The Cure is killed. Rodney is low. Hero is coming in from the back, probably looking to drop another Entomb. He's going to take a lot of damage, though. Jazz is low. Hero is low. They're pushed back by the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. It's one beacon apiece, and the progress is 60 to 66. Sonya will be rotating towards this bottom beacon. Murden jumping over walls. Hero looking to stand here as Mundane Zebra pushes in. Oh, the Entomb comes out, but it just misses Sonya. Rodney is coming in there looking to gank Mundane Zebra. Here comes the Haymaker. Mundane Zebra is thrust under the fort by the punching power of the Dwarven King. Azmochad blows away Falstad. Azariel and Hero are trying to help, but now they're taking a lot of damage from Rodney and Azmochad. Here comes the spin to win. Hero, he's dropping abilities, but he's at 21 health. The Drain Hope is helping, but it's too much, and he is killed by Sonya. In the top, a Solid School had recaptured this point, but it's recaptured again by Rodney's imaginary friends. Jazz standing on the point. Now Drincho going to start punching this Johanna. It's Monk versus Crusader. Hero trying to use that trait to get back to life more quickly, but he has to be careful he doesn't get immediately caught out here. He does back to his fort, but now there's a huge Zerg wave, a Bruiser camp, and there's no fort here. All of this is going to be pushing directly into the keep, while a few members, it looks like the two healers have been left to handle the Zerg wave on the bottom. And this is not the crew I would have left to do this, as Narfungus gets hit by a couple of these Banelings. So this is the 60% wave, and I think they've underestimated a bit. It's probably going to take their bottom fort, but in the top, a gust does come out to push them back, trying to give them some breather. When Falstad is going to go down to these minions and Banelings, and he's blown away. He miscalculated the damage of the Zerg wave. So Falstad will die. The kills are 12 to 4 on the side of Rodney's imaginary friends. They're pushing on this keep. Snarfungus has rotated. Sonya has gone bottom with the Kharazim. There is the time stop. This time the timing is great, but Ironskin is popped by Johanna. Jazz is very low, and Rodney is stuck in the Entomb, but a good Haymaker means that Leo is sent halfway to space as they do take down the keep in the top lane. There are 5 defending, but the other 2 are rotating after they took the bottom fort. Out comes the Crystal Aegis onto Azariel. He does leap away to attack the Guardians, and the members of Rodney's imaginary friends will back off with a full 2-level lead against the members of a Solid School. So, taking a breath and backing are the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. They will drop back to their own camp. They're not looking to be aggressive enough to invade, but am I wrong? Are they considering it? Azmochad is moving in, looking to attack Hero here, then spinning to win among the minions, but this camp is captured. The blue team has hit 16, so they are more confident. And we didn't quite discuss the ultimates of the team. We have Starfall, Haymaker, Slowing Sand, 7-sided strike, and we do have Wrath of the Berserker from Sonya. They are going to jump on Hero here. He's trying to find his way around. He's just waiting for his Wraithwalk cooldown to come out. A great spear there by Azmochad, and Hero is killed on Leoric. In the top lane, we have Mundane Zebra pushing out this wave, and they do have a Fireback camp pushing, meaning that all minions will be stopped by this camp for the time being, giving a Solid School a little bit of breathing room. The only things left to capture on this map are the boss and this Fireback camp here, but it looks like instead Rodney's imaginary friends are trying to find a rotational mistake, while the members of a Solid School are well aware of this and making sure they don't get caught. They're looking to jump on Hero again, but this time the Wraithwalk does get him to safety. In the top, Voltite pushing hard. They want to hit 16. They want to be on the same talent tier as their opponents the next time beacons come up. It looks like there is a rotation towards Mundane Zebra. He's going to try and sidestep his way out of this problem. The barrel roll, the chase down. But over here, we've got a team fight coming. The Slowing Sats does come down. Some damage onto Hero. They're still trying to chase Mundane Zebra here. Barrel, he does have to use the Gust here. And he's going to use Fly. The stun comes out. Oh, and the spear. Mundane Zebra doing so much damage. He's not able to use his Fly to get out of there. But they are able to rotate in time to save his life. Out comes the Blessed Shield. Snarfungus now. They've turned onto this blue team, although it looks like Leoric was killed down here by Drincho, probably with the 7-sided strike. No, it's not on cooldown. Galnean comes out and kills Snarfungus as Greymane dumps out, but now Mundane Zebra is very low. Out comes the 7-sided strike now. Jazz is incredibly low, and they're going to jump onto the Johanna here as the Cure is also getting chased down. A kill by Chromie onto Jazz's Johanna as the Cure props the Crystal Aegis, giving her team a little more time to rotate. But that is the end of the Angel of Hope. Ariel murderized by Chromie. The beacons are back up. Mundane Zebra just clear of the bottom. They have hit 16 now and are an even talent here. They need about 30 seconds for their entire team to be back now, though. And they're not going to capture both beacons. They're going to prioritize taking the boss here for the members. No, they will send Drincho to the bottom. The slowing stance is out. It's slowing down Hero. Chromie is soloing this. They're going back into the fight, but Chromie cannot solo the boss. She does not have the hit points for it. Out comes the Entomb onto Rodney. They're going to let the boss leash. Drincho is here. Snarfungus sends an owl. I think more to intimidate, make them think there's more people here than there are. Hero will back away, takes some damage from standing in the slowing sands. And while this is going on, the beacons are slowly but surely ticking up, ticking up. It's up to 86% already as Hero is standing on this top beacon. It's 92% to 0. And Fallside just has to clear these waves. You cannot let catapults on your core in case there's a long team fight. 92 to 0 as the fireback camp is collected by Rodney's imaginary friends. Jazz is going to walk in looking to take down Starfungus and Raver, but Rodney will jump on Zariel instead. The detainment strike is finished for Ariel as we see here. Out comes the stun, but Jazz had already been stunned. The Starfall will come out. A lot of damage coming out, but Zariel jumps onto the back line. The Gust knocks them into the back of the Entomb. Raver manages to use stasis to get out of the way there, but she is being chased down by Jazz while Greymane is killed as well. They're managing to turn this around on Jazz. Rodney's very low, though, only has 700 health. And in the back, Sonya is unstoppable. Now, Mundane Zebra during this time did manage to capture both points, so that progress is ticking up. But Chad killed Ariel and is considering chasing Mundane Zebra as well. At the end of the day, it's a 2-for-1. A lot of health bars low, all of the ultimates used, but only 3 dead. Mundane Zebra backing now, and it will be a 100 to 32% Zerg wave. Snarfungus back in 15 on the Ariel. 10 seconds left on the Greymane's return, and still over 20 for the Ariel. But again, there will be about half the health left on this Fireback camp, and a 100% Zerg wave crashing towards the bottom keep of the members of a solid school. And they are a level and a half behind. They desperately want to take a fight before 20s come out for their opponents. The slowing sands comes out, makes it hard for their opponents to try to do damage from behind this gate. Gilnean cocktails coming out from Greymane. The Drain Hope is onto Rodney 77. Jazz is going to walk in, but is slowed by the time stop. And Tomb comes up but hits no one. Chad hits a spear on Mundane Zebra and immediately walks back out. Rodney is quite low, but the Zerg are doing their work on this keep. It will go down. He's in the top. This tiny keep is getting pushed by the Guardian here. Almost 20 are Rodney's imaginary friends. They haven't quite hit it, but now they have. We've got the Piercing Sands of Chromie. Here's a big fight. The 7-sided strike and the Starfall comes out. With Drincho's taking a lot of damage from Hero. Manages to dash out. We see Rewind for Muradin. We've got Fists of Legend from Karazim and Ignore Pain from Sonya. Tyrande still hasn't chosen. They're attacking Hero and he's blown away. Hit by the Sandblasts from Chromie. They're attacking the core, but they're getting low here. They do get a stun onto Mundane Zebra. Out comes the Crystal Aegis. They're going to look to finish him off here. A big heal from the Cure there, but he's still blown away. Now they're going to try and kill Jazz on Johanna. Karazim trying to chase her down. They jump into the back. Rodney and Sonya doing so much. Azariel takes a lot of damage, but does manage to get safely into the Hall of Storms. The core is down to 67%. They're attacking the core now, but the stuns are still coming out. The slowing sands is here as well. And it looks like game number 1 is going to go to the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. GG! Game number 1 on Brax's holdout to Rodney's imaginary friends. So in a way, this was a close match, and in a way it wasn't. Obviously, the kills are 20-6, and it did feel like right from the start, there was control on the side. Again, the tempo went the way of the 2-3 split. Karazim and Sonya frequently rotated in helpful ways. And again, Chromie's one of those characters who, if you only have a 3v4, as long as she stays back and is just using Sandblast and Dragon's Breath, can get plenty of damage out and can push the enemy team to respond. So, um, it did feel like after the first Zerg control, the first winning beacon sequence for Rodney's imaginary friends, they just kept total control of this game. They made sure Hero on the Orc was never comfortable. And what Leo is most happy doing is just clearing waves. If he has to duel, he can, but he just likes to clear waves. That's what the Skeleton King likes to do. And when he has to face two people, he can't do what he wants to do, which makes uh, and now maybe at this level they don't feel that way, but at least for someone like me, it makes it feel frustrating that you can't do what your character's built to do, and it can really make you start to feel like, man, I want to do something, I want to get something going. So again, this kind of 2-3 split is becoming much more popular in Braxis, and in this case, it wins the game for Rodney's imaginary friends. So game number 1 is to RIF. So we will give them their credit and see where game number 2 will take us. And it is always a blast casting these heroic level matches. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because you know what, these heroic level teams, both teams play great, and it's always such a blast. It does look, however, like game number 2 will be on our other 2-lane map, Battlefield of Eternity, between Rodney's imaginary friends and the teams have switched sides on me. The teams have switched sides on me. So give me one moment. We will flip it around, and we'll have you going momentarily here. So Battlefield of Eternity, another 2-lane map that requires a lot of knowing where you want to put your heroes. You could theoretically do a 2-3 on this one, but I think it would look a little weaker because it means you take away a race hero for a healer, usually. So on this team, we usually see things that want to race. Li Ming, Vala, Raynor, Zul'jin, sometimes Gul'dan, although he's not the greatest racer in the world. And for tanks, you want things that can create space. So Johanna, Arthas, Diablo, Garrosh, all really popular tanks on this map. You can try to win by team fighting. You can try to win by racing and just creating a little space. There's a lot of different ways to win the Battlefield of Eternity. So, without further ado, let's pop in, see what these drafts look like, and see what these teams bring us on the Battlefield of Eternity. So the blue team, which now as they flip sides is going to be a solid school, have drafted Sonya, Thrall, Li Ming, Murd, and Stukov. So interesting, they've gone for a double bruiser, triple frontline comp with Stukov, Li Ming in the back. Now, this can work, but there's also the threat that if your Murd and Sonya Thrall all try to go in really hard, Li Ming and Stukov don't go in very hard. So you run the risk, if your communication isn't great, of having a very defined jumped in front line and a very defined back line that can be punished. But I'm assuming that this team has worked with things like this before and knows how to keep their communication clean, so you don't end up with an isolated Li Ming out on an island going, "Please, sir, I'd like some peel." Stukov is the most annoying healer in the game. Changed my mind. The silence puddles are just so annoying, and there's lots of choke points on this map that can make it very powerful. Murden's a great tank for this map with his ability to go in and out, and his autos are not nothing. And yeah, Thrall Sonya can really create some space. They're both also really good racers for melee characters. If you can delete one or two of the racers on the enemy team. So all in all, I'd say this is a solid draft. I wouldn't say it's A1 plus for this map, but I would say it's a solid A draft. It does the things you want it to do. It can kind of respond to what your opponents want to do. So yeah, I think it gives a lot of options. Thrall, especially Earthquake on this map, is incredibly powerful. Sunring can be good as well. And yeah, Muradin and Stukov can kind of mean no matter where you meet the enemy team, you can make it to your advantage. So that's really strong. On the far side, we see Diablo, Vala, Cassia, Samuro, and Brightwing. Samuro usually not as popular on these smaller maps. He's usually great on big maps where he can push and then get away with his different tricks. He is a good auto attacker though, which means he's probably moderate at race. And with Cassia and Vala, they have even more Diablo, Brightwing bring much the same power as Murd and Stukov. They can create space, they can make life annoying for their opponents. I would say there's probably a little more finish on this team, a little more throughput for the damage. They're a little less blow you up at first, and a little more keep chasing me, don't worry, we'll put lots of damage on your face. So again, both these teams kind of have a different pace they want to run this. Blue team, Solid School is a little more jump on you, finish you off. They want you to be dead within probably the first 2 to 3 seconds of engaging on you. Whereas Rodney's imaginary friends, both Cassie and Vala, are not big for a huge burst. They want to kite a little, they want to move around, they want to give Diablo opportunities to kind of stun people up while they just bam, 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 bam your health bar. So honestly, I think the two healers might be the biggest parts of this. If Brightwing gets really, really great polys, it's going to be hard for this double bruiser lineup to get to the back line. On the other hand, if Stukov's silences are really strong on point, it'll be hard for Rodney's imaginary friends to get their different escape abilities going. So, again, this will be a skill matchup. Let's see what these teams bring us in game number 2 between a Solid School and Rodney's imaginary friends. On the blue side, we have a Solid School. They're representing the High Heavens, and they have the Angel Lieutenant Ilarion on their side. We've got Hero on Sonya, Mundane Zebra on Thrall, Azuriel on Li Ming, Jazz plays Murden, and The Cure playing Stukov. In the red, we have Rodney's imaginary friends battling for the Burning Hells, with the Demon Lieutenant Belith as their immortal. Diablo is being played appropriately by Rodney77X. Vala is playing Snarfungus. Cassia played by Rayvar. Asmochad on Samuro. And Drincho on this Brightwing. Sonya yet to choose a level 1, but do see the Rolling Thunder, which does give % damage and is very strong, especially for a 4-man Thrall. We've got Aether Walker for Li Ming. There is the flip and a pile of damage onto Mundane Zebra's Thrall. Here comes the phase shift. They're going to get Rayvar first, though. Cassia is killed by the Stukov, and again, fighting in choke points. Rodney might go down as well. He does flip and pull the Cure. The Cure has killed 60 hit points on Rodney, but he barely gets out as we see Drincho get the final shot on his Solid School counterpart. We've got Dwarf Block for Murden, which will be very strong against this team of auto attackers, and we've got reactive ballista spores instead of low blow for the Stukov, so big slows. We do see the tough as nails out of Sonya, so again, another character that's going to be relying on those block stacks to help the early part of the fight go well for her. We do see the flip and the charge onto Mundane Zebra, the immediate follow-up, but we see the puddle come out, and so much slow on Rayvar. Drinso is forced to use Phase Shift just to keep Cassia alive, and no one goes down. Do the Spell Shield, or the Soul Shield on Diablo. We've got Puncturing Arrow, the Hungering Arrow, talent for Vala. We do have the Q stacks as well, Thunderstroke for Cassia. We've got Way of Illusion for Samuro, and we don't have Hypershift. We have Greater Polymorph on Drincha, who's getting very, very low here, but Azuriel is getting very low as well. But Rodney's imaginary friends are pushed back, and Mundane Zebra is a character that has a lot of good sustain, so they managed to hold on to and take this camp in the bottom lane, even though no one was killed. Drincha was forced to back, but does come in with a phase shift onto Rodney77. In the top, Hero is getting lots of value from spinning into Asmachad, taking his hero from game 1 and using it to a big advantage, putting piles of damage, and in fact, already taking a tower down. Rayvar is very low, and it seems like a Solid School has come out hot and fast in game number 2. Unhappy with losing game 1, with losing control in game 1, they are putting the pressure onto their opponents in game number 2. Hero using the spin to win to get some health here from the Whirlwind. Asmachad just looking to push this out. And this can be a bit of a tough matchup. Asmachad having to be careful, taking a lot of damage from Hero here. And just having to be patient, but losing his front gate. The Bruiser camp will be taken by a solid school, and it seems, yes, Rodney's imaginary friends taking their Bruiser camp as well. Diablo left bottom to soak experience, but both these teams are going to want to deal with these Bruiser camps, as it will cause trouble. But Rayvar gets caught on the rotate. Out comes the Wolf from Mundane Zebra. It hits 2, but they don't manage to get any kills, as the Immortals have spawned. Rayvar and Rodney looking to take out this camp in the bottom, while Hero, in fact, getting pressured by Asmochat, taking a lot of damage, but the block is doing work, and Hero manages to survive the aggressive press by Samuro. Both teams trying to decide whether they want to defend or attack here. Jazz will jump on Rodney, who pops the spell shield, or the soul shield, pardon me. It looks like Rodney's imaginary friends want to race, but Solid School wants to defend. Does not want to let Snarfungus and Rayvar get free damage onto Ilarion, but it's happening anyway. Mundane Zebra looking to come out from behind with a surprise. There's the stun and the flip onto Murd, and Jazz taking a lot of damage at Rodney. Has to get cleansed by Drinko here. Asmochat comes from the back though and kills Li Ming. Jazz taking a lot of damage from the Hungering Arrows. Is forced to get 88 damage. Dead! That's a 2 for nothing, and Rodney slams. They're going to catch Mundane Zebra as well, and he's killed, not managing to finish his Frostwolf pack stacks. They win the race and they win the team fight 3 for nothing to the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. So the race will go over and it will be entirely in the hands of Rodney's imaginary friends. They're looking to catch Hero here, but the spin is going to keep him alive for the time being. But Ilarion is defeated, and Belith will smash his opponent into the ground, WWE style, and will absorb his life force with a shield that's hitting 90% here. And it will go to the bottom lane as our offlaners go to the top to do offlane things. A big team fight there, but some great play from them, and some great kiting. Again, the Immortal making it hard for the blue team to do what they want to do in that fight. It doesn't go as quickly as they want it to, and that does lend itself to the fighting style of Rodney's imaginary friends. Now at 10s, there will be a lot more options for this triple frontline style, but they do have about a 3/4 of a level deficit at the moment. Belith smashing into this fort. It's already down to half health. Out comes the silence, but the phase shift and cleanse comes out, letting Rodney get out. Fort is down. Belith still has half his hit points, but it looks like Rodney's imaginary friends are content to leave it there, and Belith is walking to his own death in the high heavens. In the bottom, Rodney's imaginary friends come and take immediately this Khazra camp for doing siege. Blue team looking to get a fight here, but they are just too slow. The rotate does not come out quickly enough, and they can't make their opponents pay for taking this camp. Rodney's imaginary friends are rotating towards the top side now. Are they looking for a gank on Hero, or are they just looking to take the camp? Rodney keeping an eye out, seeing if there's an opportunity for Hero to step up. But Hero playing very safe now, as in the bottom, Solid School just clears out that Khazra camp, and on the top, Rayvar and Drincha will take the top Khazra camp, sorry. Samuro, Rodney on Diablo. They are going to jump, but a great route from Mundane Zebra means the charge does not happen. Out comes the silence from the Cure. Asmochat is in the back. They're putting damage onto Azario's Li Ming, but so far they've managed to get away. A good route onto Asmochat, and the reactive ballistas where Snarfungus taking a lot of damage. A cleanse from Drincho there. Rodney flips Jazz away from his damage dealer. Mundane Zebra still in the front line there, but so far nobody going down, as tens will be coming out very quickly for the members of Rodney's imaginary friends. Lots of damage onto the gate from the combos of Li Ming, but tens will be coming in very shortly, and here they are for Rodney's imaginary friends, as the Solid School will fall back to their bruisers, but an invade is on the minds of Rodney and his buddies. We see Lightning Breath for Diablo, Lightning Ball for Cassia, Blade Storm for Samuro, and Blink Heal for our Brightwing, and it is Rain of Vengeance on the Vala. But tens will be coming in very quickly again, also for a Solid School. The Immortals have popped, and immediately to the race go Rodney and his buddies. We've got Leap for Sonya, Sundering for Thrall, Wave of Force for Li Ming, Avatar for Muradin, and Flailing Swipe for Stukov. Halftime show is decidedly to the advantage of Rodney's imaginary friends as they take their camp as well, and a Solid School looking to defend Ilarion. as the red team looks to defend theirs. There is the push by Rodney. It does not end up in a stun. They try to bait them into stuns from Belith. It does not work out. Asmachad looking for the flank here, looking to get on Azariel and the Cure. Just keeping their minds on that. Hero does get caught. Here comes the Raid of Vengeance and the Fire Breath. Hero is incredibly low, but the spin is keeping him alive. He's barely surviving at 400 health. There is the Flailing Swipe from the Cure. Asmachad does manage to kill Sonya, and Azariel is low. Rodney jumps into Jazz as Avatar is popped. Here comes the Silencing Puddle, and it is making life more difficult. But Asmachad again looking to come in from the back and make life difficult. Azariel takes some big auto attacks, but the heal from the Cure, they do not have anything to fall back from here. But the combo manages to kill Samuro, but there goes Li Ming. Jazz is getting low. He does go down as well. They flip Mundane Zebra, and he is caught now. A big heal and cleanse from Drincho means the whole team gets some bonus healing, and that is a 3-for-1. A 4-for-1, because Sonya had died in the beginning of that. A 4-for-1 for the members of Rodney's Imaginary Friends, and their comp is working just how they want. Nobody is getting blown up on the side of Rodney's Imaginary Friends, and that means these teamfights are not going the way that a Solid School wants. They have their combos, they have what they want to hit, but I will say, their ultimates aren't necessarily super helpful. Leap wants to have people brought together, but Sundering knocks them apart. Oh, the Leap is just missed. Doesn't manage to stun anybody, but Hero is going to spin to the backline. Out comes the Cassia Ball. It's hitting Hero, who's managed to heal up. Mundane Zebra comes in, but does get stunned. He's taking a lot of damage, and he does go down, but he manages to cast Sundering just before that happens. Hero is at about a third of his health as the Flailing Swipe comes out as well. But this top fort is down to half, and Bella still has all his health. Rodney with a charge on Jazz, but it does not stun. He manages to eat that combo. It takes almost nothing from it because his soul shield is at full. And as I was saying, the Leap, the Sundering, the Wave of Force, the Flailing Swipe all knocks people away. They're all ultimates that force people away from being clumped, and Leap wants people to be clumped. So this isn't necessarily they're going to have to be careful how they use them so they don't end up with anti-synergy. The wall will go down the keep. There's the flip on a Mundane Zebra, but Jazz will jump in. The unstoppable Lightning Breath from the Diablo. And Asmachad jumps in, does manage to kill this Li Ming. What burst we're seeing from this Samuro, as he just keeps blowing up backline people who do not have a lot of health. The critical hit damage is blowing people away. And the Burning Blade with the Way of Illusion is just really causing harm for this squishy backline of a Solid School. The top camp will be captured by Rodney and his imaginary friends while Hero battles with Samuro, but that is a matchup that's hard for Samuro to win because every time you use clones, Hero gets triple the healing from Whirlwind. Asmachad will go to take this bottom as Rodney anchors. And for now, the members of a Solid School just have to turtle. They have to play safe, they have to play calm, they have to hit the same talent tier and look to win a fight over the Immortals. Hero is mounting up, does get jumped on by Rodney, but does not get stunned and manages to get away safely, meaning that Mundane Zebra can step up to clear this camp as the rest of Solid School looks to make sure no one gets caught. Asmachad does get seen here. They do get one tower of the bottom gate. As the Immortals spawn in 23 seconds, this camp is up right now. Asmachad having a look. They're looking to see if they can capture someone. They are on the same talent tier. This is the fight they want. They get the stun onto Rodney 77. The silence comes out, but it's just slightly off-center. Out comes the Lightning Breath and the heal onto Diablo by Brightwing. That's a lot of damage on Hero. He's polymorphed, and he does go down. Jazz is forced to jump out. They're trying to catch Asmachad in the back, but the Stormbolt misses. Out comes the combo, but it hits the camp instead as Rayvar is attempting to step away. Drincho blink heal onto Rayvar. Jazz is getting incredibly low. The jump and the polymorph. He's still 300 health. Will he get away? No, he's killed by Cassia, and that is another 2-for-0 for the members of Rodney's Imaginary Friends, and their fights are looking so crisp and so clean as they are now getting free race, as the only thing a Solid School can do is defend. Sonya is back in 12 seconds. We'll see Murden back as well as the halftime show is reached. They're going to look to take their camp here, but Diablo can see them. So they're going to look to stop Asmachad by killing these waves as the race continues, but it's a one-sided race. The The stun there is onto Snarfungus. She does get pinged. Don't get stunned by an angel. It's bad news. And Belith will crush his opponent with a 100% shield. As Rodney's imaginary friends have hit 16, and this is looking dire for the members of a solid school. They did take their camp, but we got another fight happening here as Samuro pushes the bottom, but Thrall is blown away, but Cassie is killed in return as the big Puddle manages to silence. The Lightning Breath comes out, but Azariel is caught. Sarfungus taking so much damage, killed as well. It's a 2 for 2 so far. A Polymorph is onto Hero, who tries to hit Drincho, but misses the spear, but it is a 5v3 as Belith pushes in the bottom lane, and Azwachad has already been softening this keep for his demon ally. I almost said apprentice. I mean, I think Samuro would have a demon apprentice. That sounds about right. The guy is very evil. You ever played against him? He's so annoying. They need to stop this demon. It's hitting on their core right now. Hero using the spin to stay alive, but there's the flip by Rodney. Mundane Zebra pushing Azwachad back so he can't auto. And the two strongest auto attackers on this team are currently dead for Rodney's imaginary friends, but Belith is more than happy to slap that core himself. Azwachad coming in from the back. Core is at 50. And it just keeps attacking. They're trying to both knock people back, but the core is down to 25%. It's down to 10%, down to 4, and it is over. Game number 2 will also go to Rodney's imaginary friends, and they dominate this series 2-0. GG's. So another game that started out relatively even. The kills are closer than they were in game 1, 14-4, but it's snowballed. And that's one of the struggles on two-lane maps, is they can snowball out of control really quickly when there's less macro to try and work with. When you can't leave them top and rotate to a bottom keep that's going to take them, 12 seconds to rotate to, you kind of have to win fights. In small maps, you do have to win fights, or at least brawls, that you have to try and pull them into 2v2s and 3v3s, or you have to be willing for the 5v5s. And Rodney's Diablo just kept starting fights in ways where Mundane Zebra couldn't get going. He would get blown up even before the Stukov puddle went down, and by that point, it's an outnumbered fight. So interestingly enough, even though they did well in the longer fights, it actually seemed like the charge stun polymorph was actually leading to picks for the members of Rodney's imaginary friends, just picking people off. So that is a 2-0 series. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Omster. Here are the talents if you'd like to have a quick look at them. The VODs will be on Twitch for 7 days, but if you'd like to see it after that, they will be on YouTube under the channel Omster. I hope you've had as good a time as I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and go and enjoy yourself some Heroes of the Storm.